My dearest brothers and sisters. This is Hakann speaking. Thank you for your questions. I always enjoy the opportunity to connect with light workers. To honor and to stay within the limits of what the channeler can handle, I'll do some relatively quick Q&A today. As always, your soul is your ultimate guide. If your soul disagrees with anything I say, please listen to your soul instead of me. You can talk to your soul directly by thinking or saying, "My soul, what do you think about this topic?" Or "My soul, what should I do today?" Only answers that arise immediately come from your soul. Your soul will answer in your regular inner voice, but the message will come from your soul.
Question: I have been for a long time seeing what we on Earth call angel numbers. If possible, I'd like your perspective on 711 and 911. What does it mean when we repeatedly see 711 or 911?
Answer: some Earthlings have given permission to directly receive energy or messages from benevolent beings. For example, they might have said once in their lifetime, "I agree to be contacted by and receive energy from those beings for whom it is in accordance with the highest divine blueprint that they do so. I do not agree to be contacted by or affected by beings for whom it is not in accordance with the highest divine blueprint that they do so. Thank you." If those Earthlings are also pure enough, they are sometimes contacted telepathically. A voice might just start talking to them, and it will sound like their inner voice, but it might be from an extraterrestrial or ascended master or angel. That said, most Earthlings have not given this permission. Hence, extraterrestrials and angels and ascended masters and their own souls sometimes communicate to them via signs. A very common sign might be seeing repeat numbers, but it can be just about anything that's striking to the person and that's repeated several times. For example, it might be finding feathers, or seeing specific words, etc. 711 is a message of opening. It can mean that you yourself are opening up spiritually. It can also mean that opportunities are being opened up to you. If you see 711, it can be good to go with the flow and to be open to changes and new opportunities. It can also mean that the world or humanity is opening up. 911 is a divine number of positive change. This can be either for yourself or for the world around you. Some people have committed evil acts on 911 to try and create negative associations with this number, but it really is a very positive number and good omen. If something in the previous sentences jumped out at you, that is a pretty good sign that this specifically is the right message.
Question: can you describe the true dragon beings, their appearance in particular? I know they are very intelligent and evolved, residing in the higher dimensions.
Answer: a lot of so-called fantasy creatures, at one time physically walked around or flew around on Earth. But when Earth's vibration plummeted a long time ago, they became much harder to perceive for most Earthlings. Some of them also actively started hiding from Earthlings due to their destructive behavior. Dragons are usually benevolent. They are masters of both physical and energetic transmutation. Note that your science of alchemy is depicted with turning base metals into gold, and that dragons are sitting on top of a lot of gold. Gold is in large part a metaphor for high energies. So a large part of alchemy is transmuting lower energies into higher energies, and dragons are masters at turning lower energies into higher energies. Dragons are so good at transmutation, in fact, that they are metaphorically depicted as sitting on top of a mountain of gold, or high energies. Also note that Saint Germain is a great alchemist, and Saint Germain too is a master of transmuting lower energies into higher energies. If you want to physically transmute base metals into gold, you will need to be a master at transmuting energies first. Transmuting energies is the fundamental and most important part of the process. It is a bit like how so-called supernatural powers only arise when the person first reaches a certain level of spiritual attainment. Trying to turn base metals into gold without first working on the spiritual aspect is like trying to be in two locations at the same time without first working on yourself spiritually. It is not going to happen. If you want to transmute a lot of energies into higher forms, whether for yourself or for an area or for the entire world, it can be a good idea to ask dragons for help. For example, you might say out loud, "Wise and benevolent beings, forces and aspects of existence, including dragons, please help me with the following. I hereby transmute lower energies in myself, in this area, in the world into a higher form, all in accordance with the highest divine blueprint. Thank you, now. The clause, In accordance with the highest divine blueprint is critical, because in this way you're working with Source. If you try to say something like this without that clause, it can backfire on you. Saying now strengthens and then casts the spell. As for what they look like, they are masters of transmutation. They can take on just about any form they wish. Many dragons by default exist without a physical form in higher dimensions, as you say.
Question: Humans. Do their origins begin in Lyra, and later through migration, spreading across the galaxy and beyond, or did Elohim emerge from sons of the Pleiades, Sirius, Arcturus, Andromeda Galaxy, and so on, and created the human physical vessel, and later incarnated in those bodies and new souls were offered to incarnate in the human vessels?
Answer: Humans, whether they are Pleiadian or Earthling or other, originated in Lyra. The Earthling book The Prism of Lyra is pretty good. I do not agree with everything in it, but a lot of it is accurate. Do keep in mind that as with everything, the book offers just one perspective and you'd get slightly different perspectives if you talk to different beings. I have also talked about the history of Earthlings in the previous Era of Light article Hakann, How Were Earthlings Created? On YouTube this same message is titled Hakann, History of Humanity.
Question: The entity we know as Ashtar, or Commander Ashtar, is he a Pleiadian, with their physical traits such as long hair, blonde, etc., or is he a Sirian, with no hair, larger head?
Answer: He is a Pleiadian with long blonde hair. Your images of him are reasonably accurate, although those usually do not capture how strong and how loving and how wise his energy is. If a Pleiadian were to make a painting, he or she would consciously choose to put a certain energy into it, simply by being in that energy themselves while making that painting. It seems that most Earthlings have not yet realized that the energy in which they exist while painting something, determines which energy gets put into the painting. So a truly accurate portrait of Ashtar could only be painted by someone who at the time of painting is in a very high and loving and wise energy. If you are a light worker and also an artist, you can try to experiment with this. Try painting or drawing the exact same thing while strongly feeling first one energy, and then strongly feeling a completely different energy. You will notice the difference in the results, especially if your emotions and energy flows freely and you thus feel strong energy and emotions while painting or drawing. Once you understand this and you are spiritually evolved enough to be able to consciously choose which energy you want to be in, you have the potential to become a truly great artist. For example, a part of why Van Gogh's paintings are so remarkable and well-beloved is because he was an old evolved soul. His energies and emotions were largely unblocked and flowed freely through him as he was painting. Thus his energies and emotions were put into the paintings, and that is why they are so striking. You feel something when looking at a Van Gogh painting, because he strongly felt something while painting it. Or you could become an exceptional portrait painter if you're able to feel someone's energy and then personally occupy that same energy while painting them. An empath lightworker artist could excel at this. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you today. Thank you for your excellent questions. I hope you have an amazing day. Your star brother, Hakann.